everybody, this is Miss Karen here from the Montgomery County Norristown Public Library, and we are back with another fun fall-themed painting project. So this week we're going to make this cool pumpkin canvas painting here, like you're looking down at the top of a pumpkin. And the first thing you want to do is go ahead and paint your canvas all in orange. Now you'll notice that these, my example and the one I'll be working on here to show you today, these are two different shades of orange. The reason is because we have a couple different sets of paints that are still going out. So when we ordered the paints to do these projects, we got a couple different suppliers. So for this video and for any video, if your colors look slightly different than what I'm doing in the example video, that's totally fine. That's just because the paint sets vary ever so slightly. So whatever color orange that you have, you're just going to go ahead and fill in the entire canvas with that. I did 2 coats for this one here in my example. You can still see some of the white behind it. So whatever you prefer, if you want it to be totally solid orange, I would give it about 20 minutes in between each coat of paint to let it dry. And you can just keep painting that over until you're happy with that. But we are going to be going in and adding some white and some yellows to add those highlights. So it definitely does not need to be perfect. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is paint our pumpkin stem right here in the center. So I'm going to be going ahead and mixing some colors together. You can either do what I'm doing and mix the colors right in the pots or on your brush, or if you'd like to get something like a paper plate on the side, you can mix them there so that they don't mix up your colors in the actual paint set. Now do make sure that you have something underneath where you're working, like newspaper or magazine pages, something that will keep you from getting paint directly onto your surface. So first we're going to take a lot of white on our brush and just a tiny little bit of brown. Get a little bit more white there. So you're going to have more white than brown mixed together. So I'm just putting them all directly onto the same brush. And you'll see as I start painting on the canvas that it's going to mix them together. But like I said, if you want to pre-mix them on a paper plate, you can definitely do that as well. So we're going to be mixing mainly white with a little bit of brown together to get that nice tan color for that shape in the center. So we're going to start right in the middle, and we're just going to start with a little curved line on the bottom, and then 2 curved lines that are going to come up and meet each other at the top. So it's up to you how big you want to make your pumpkin stem. You can make it longer or wider or shorter. Every pumpkin stem looks different, so whichever pleases you more, you can go ahead and do that. All right, so we're just going to do a shape kind of like that. I'm going to go ahead and mix these colors one more time and get a little bit more color on there. And we will be outlining all of these shapes with a black marker or black paint. So as you can see, it's a little bit, it doesn't stand out very much against the orange background, but that's totally fine. As you can see in the example here, we will be outlining it, so that's going to stand out much more later on. All right. So we want a shape just like that, kind of nice and simple. Now on the bottom where we have the curved line, we're going to go ahead and just do a couple. You can see I'm almost doing like a bird shape here, like a V almost, just to kind of make it stick out a little bit on the 2 edges and then in the center as well, which is going to make it look a little bit more realistic looking rather than just a straight curved line. All right, so we're all done with that. Next, we're going to go ahead and dip our brush into the brown, and you're going to paint kind of like a circle shape around the edge of that stem that you just painted. Now you'll notice that my colors will probably mix together because I'm not waiting for that layer of paint to dry. But like I said, if you just wait about 15 to 20 minutes in between each of these steps, that paint should be nice and dry and you won't have to worry about the colors mixing. But what we're going to do is do just kind of like 3/4 of a circle coming out from the middle of that stem there. So you're going to start kind of right in that bottom 3rd section and come out from the sides there. And we're going to go ahead and fill that in with the brown paint. Make sure we keep the shape of the base of our stem here. And you're going to fill that in just like that. And again, you can see my colors mixing a little bit, but that is totally fine. All right, so we have that shape there in the center. And now I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush and do kind of the same thing that we did with the stem, and just do a couple lines swinging out just like this, making those bird shapes, those V shapes, just to give it a little bit of a more realistic looking edge there. and we're all done with that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do these curved lines coming out from the center all the way to the edge. It almost looks like a spider or something like that. So you can choose to do as many or as few of these lines as you'd like. I'm going to first start out with everywhere I made a point coming off of this brown base here. I'm going to start there and just draw those curved lines coming out from those points. So I have one there, one here, and you'll probably need to keep dipping this back into the paint. But again, we will be outlining those with the black marker, so if they're not perfectly drawn, then that's totally fine. I have another one here. So you're just doing curved lines coming from that center all the way out to the edge. Another one here. And we have 3 more on this side. So we have 1, 2, and 3. All right, so those are all of my lines coming out from the points that I already had, but I'm going to go in and add some extras. So we'll do a couple up from the top here for those points that we couldn't see behind the stem. Okay, and I'm going to add 1 or 2 more in over on the sides. So we'll put one here, and we'll do another one there. All right, so like I said, you can do as many or as few of those as you would like. So you can see it's already starting to take that shape and look like a pumpkin. So what we're going to do next is go and add the highlights. So I'm going to start with one of my slightly bigger brushes like this, and I'm going to go ahead and dip that into my yellow. And I'm just going to pick a couple spots right against the brown lines that I drew, and I'm just going to go ahead and lightly put in some of that yellow. So it's not going to be super vibrant. We don't want it to be. You can see just that little brush of yellow gives it that illusion that there's light hitting the pumpkin, gives it some depth, and makes it look a lot more lifelike and realistic there. So I'm just going to pick a couple spots to do that, and you can do either side of the lines, of the brown lines. Right now I'm keeping it kind of to the right side of the lines, but as we get up to the top, I might switch that over. Okay. So you can do it on every single line if you'd like. You can just pick a couple, whatever you think looks more realistic to you. So you don't need a lot of that paint. We really don't want it to stand out and shout, "I'm yellow." We just want it to kind of blend in with the orange and just make it look like it's got that extra bit of zing from the light hitting it. All right, so once we have our yellow, I'm then going to dip the same brush just directly into that white paint and go over those spots a little bit just to give it a little bit more of a zing there from that highlight. And you can choose to leave those if you like how I have it here, where it's a very definitive brush stroke. You can leave them like that, or you can blend them in until you can no longer see that brush stroke shape and it just blends in more with the actual orange of the pumpkin. So you can get as creative as you'd like with this, okay? All right, so that is pretty much all there is to it for this project. So the next thing you're gonna do is just take a black marker, or if you don't have a marker, you can use black paint. And you're just going to go ahead and outline all of the shapes that you've done. So we'll outline the stem, we'll outline the base, and then those brown strokes that we made, we'll put a little black line through those as well. So just for the sake of time, I'm not going to do my whole canvas here, but I will outline the stem just so I can show you guys how to make it look like it's curved, like I have it there. So we'll start with the base. I'm going to use a black paint brush here just because I don't have time to let the paint dry to use a marker. You definitely want to make sure it's nice and dry before you go in there with a Sharpie or something like that. But we can take the black paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and outline those shapes that we made on the bottom here. And then we go up, and we can outline up to the top. And again, it's up to you if you'd like to have your point of your stem be pointy, or if you wanted to have it a little bit flat. It can be crooked, it can be straight, it can be whatever you'd like it to be. All right, so once we have that outlined, I'm going to pick a point down here in the left corner. We're going to draw a curved line, and we're going to come up to kind of right about here. on the top. And we'll join those two lines together. And then I'm going to do the same thing down here, pick a point here, and we're going to loop it up. And we'll do one more on the side here. And that's just going to kind of give it that illusion that it's twisting around. And we'll do another short ones. And then up at the top, where it gets kind of fuzzy with all those fibers sticking out, I'm just going to go ahead and fill that in with the black. All right, so like I said, if you'd like, you can still go forward and outline the base, and you can put the black stripes through the brown marks that we made, and you'll end up with something like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this pumpkin painting tutorial, and hopefully I will see you back again next week for another fun virtual craft. Have a good one, guys, and stay safe. Bye-bye.